What is the dome?
This concept is in general quite unknown in the new humanity. It is a subject that is talked about only from one perspective and by a very small group that carries out some research that does not prosper, because clearly this study is not encouraged, nor will it be taken seriously by the general average. Therefore, it does not seem to be rooted to something beneficial to realize. It is a wide margin where one can theorize about this mystery of the invisible dividing barrier that seems to act similar to a membrane that limits and encloses the known lands and divides the internal from the external, thus generating a totally closed and manipulable environment that is clearly exploited by parasitic beings.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden.
Among all the theories that we can begin to analyze, one of them is to expose this great invisible dome as a means of projection, taking into account what we have been talking about, all the resets and the custodian's search to reach what seems to be the perfect colony, which is totally away from the discovery of its own home and the worlds that surround it. Then this opportunity will be a good way or path to generate an environment even more distant from reality. In this way, the modern human being could start to have a different perspective about the worlds and the surrounding universe anyway. Who would dare to get so close to this invisible dome to discover such truth? Added to the fact that the custodians and Anunnaki added great ice walls and a hostile climate surrounding those latitudes. All this is a favorable field to start manipulating reality in an absolute way, added to the three legs we mentioned before, together with education from childhood, will be the perfect combo to not question about the outer space that seems to surround us and that we see every day in the night skies. The custodial technology was advancing as their colony was also advancing between so many resets. Thus, they at each reset were adding both laboratory and technological advances to get to the point that any large-scale projection that the new humanity would see from their beginnings, year 1728 onwards, seems to be enough to generate the perfect scope towards unprecedented manipulation. The possibility that the invisible dome is equipped with advanced projection technologies that can generate images from outer space to confuse the new human minds in this way could then be considered.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden.
These digital simulations are presented as coming from space, but would simply be advanced digital creations. With the advancement of graphics and virtual reality technology, the images seen in the skies could simply be a mere inaccessible simulation. Today, creating convincing space imagery is not an arduous task, and for the custodians in 1728 with their technology, it would be technically feasible. Therefore, this technology could be used to support the illusion of outer space. The dome itself would not be related to any artificial creation, at least not of the colonists, and is repeated on each of the remaining 178 worlds, even on other domes as we have seen in previous books, TERRA-INFINITA, the detail of worlds and the theory of other domes. Thus, if we consider that the domes are artificial, then we must attribute them to extraterrestrial beings or extra-dome that we do not know, since they could be part of the remote past before the first humanity born in Hyperborea. So if this theory is right, we could consider that the space agencies are one step or more ahead of the others, because at least one group of the hierarchical dome would be aware of the existence of the invisible dome projector, and the space missions that seem to be carried out and echoed by the media could be simply manipulations, or simply some of the images they come to show could be part of other worlds behind the dome instead of distant planets in this simulated outer space.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden.
Some of the space agencies are conducting in-depth studies in the Antarctic area near the dividing ice walls. The interest in that area seems to be of great importance, and the search for new lands crossing the first barriers are key to the discovery of new worlds. In this way, we could see the universe as a distant vastness, to begin to understand it as a set of closer and possibly interconnected environments, each with its own rules and realities. This opens up a great new field of study for the rediscovery and rewriting of human history.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden.